So we've essentially gone ahead and set up the aquarium. The stand is up and running. The filtration is pretty much there. Here is the turtle pond. So I kind of skipped the whole moving this inside and doing the finishing touches, just because it was a very awkward space to try and work in, because I was working mostly in this area here. And well, the big problem with that is it's very tight, so most of my body would be blocking a lot of what I was doing in here, so I wasn't really able to get anything good filming wise. But what I went ahead and done essentially is we went ahead and put all the pond liner in. I tried to straighten out the edges as much as I could. I put a few tiles here and there. These act great just because the tiles are at a slight angle, so the smaller turtles can go inside and sort of hide if they ever feel like they need to. Ferdinand is still with us. The parrotfish, I've kept him in here for the time being just because he's going to get picked on in every other tank that I put him in, so that's a bit of an issue. But what I've gone ahead and done is I've also put some netting around the basking area, because I've noticed that these turtles are escape artists and they've been winding up on the floor near the door, and they've met my cat a few times. They're all fine, don't worry. But yeah, you know, it's just want to be as careful as possible. So I went ahead and set up the basking area. They come, most of the times you'll see Scooter using it, which is the river cooter, and occasionally you might see this musk turtle or the smaller musk turtle that's actually hiding in the stair cave down there. Those two usually use it. What I mostly did at the moment is I've started to set up the filtration. So here you can see is a PVC pipe running from the tank above. So let me quickly explain how it works. It didn't ideally work the way I wanted it to work, and let me get into what happened. Our main aim was to set this tank up to overflow into there, to then overflow down into there, and then there'd be a return pump pumping it back all the way up to this tank, and it would circulate through all three tanks. Now the mistake I made was, if you look at the height of this aquarium, the water actually level is only up to here, whereas the height of this is slightly taller. Even if you do the if the water's only gone up to here, for example, there's not enough of a height difference between this and this to get the water to flow either from this tank to here or this tank to here, which I kind of made a bit of a mistake about. But we do have these two tanks running through one filtration system, which is great. What I might try and do in the future, and not now, just because I want to make sure that this tank was essentially running for close to a week without any filtration on it. I had the old filter system running on this, but not on this, so I wanted to get all of this sorted as quickly as possible, which I spent most of yesterday doing. I've not even finished it yet, so I'm short. Let me go get a chair. So to kickstart the system, I'm using one of the already cycled ceramic rings that came from, you can't see that, sorry. One of the ceramic rings that came from, which is the one in the back, that came from the filter that was running this aquarium previously. I've got some pads here. We've got coarse, medium, and fine. So hopefully that will be blocking as much of the water flowing in as possible. I'm not too sure if it actually is, but I will readjust. It's not completely finished, so I'll readjust this. I want to fill this up with a bit more media. I've already put in 2.4 kilos worth. Yeah, 2.4 kilos worth of media. I'll put in, I've got a whole box down there full of about 8 kilos worth of media, so I'll see how much of this I can fill up. Roughly just below the level here, so that I can actually go ahead and put some plants in. Let me go ahead and show you those plants as well. So these are the 3 plants I got. I got some Boston Fern, I got a Peace Lily, and I think I got some Dracaena, no, got a Nerve plant. All of these I watched one of the videos from DW Starius. If none of you watched that, go ahead and check it out. He does a really good video in explaining how plants are really beneficial in your system, and he kind of explains what plants are good for your system. So I picked up these 3 from his recommended video, and I wanted to try them out. So the thing is, I'm not too sure how this is going to work, and what I mean by this is, initially I was thinking of putting some plants down here and having 2 grow beds, one at the top and one at the bottom. Now, I don't know at the moment if light is going to be adequate without having to artificially use this light. I don't actually keep this light on top of the tank. I've only done it for filming purposes, but for the most part, this tank doesn't have any light. The only light that comes in is the ambient light through here. So it's great on a sunny day. These plants love it. These guys don't get any light at all. The only light they get comes from here. And if you remember when I first got this tank set up, which was back in the summer, You know, I probably had like 3 leaves, and this is how much it's grown since then. So I do think that having the ambient light is great, and it should be good for these plants because they are mostly low light plants. By the way, this is my new study, so this is where I work, and essentially this is what I get to work in. So what I want to do is today I'm going to go ahead and rinse off all of the mud from here and start to plant these in. I'll put the ceramic media in, and then we can go ahead and have some plants come kind of working up, and I'm going to keep an eye on them, make sure they're doing all right. They might have a period where they're not okay just because they're coming from having terrestrial roots, I guess, so roots that you usually find in soil and dirt, and then they're going to go to aquatic roots. But they do work. You've seen it. I've seen it work on his channel, so I do know for a fact that these plants do work in this condition. So it is just making sure that they do work. And what I might do is then, if they grow well up here, set the light up down here so that I can put some more plants into here, and it's just that much more filtered. Because essentially, with just these 2 plant pots, there's enough media to run all 3 tanks, just because there's going to be so much filtering capacity that I don't really need to worry about it. And it would just be a fun project to see if I can get them to work. So what I might do in the future, and I think I mentioned this, is I have an FX4 hidden all the way at the back, which is really annoying me because I can't actually get to it anymore. So I might shut the FX4 out and replace it with the filter that was running this tank. And what I might do is I'll get a PVC pipe and stick it on the return, and then do a T so that you can split into this tank, and then get this tank to flow into here, which will obviously overflow down to here, and this will be what the return pump goes into. So the return pump will always be able to send water back up to the 2 tanks. This tank will overflow into this tank, and this tank will just do its own thing and overflow back there. Okay, so we've gone ahead and we've added in the peace lily. Now, I've not gone ahead and added in the other 2 plants just yet. The reason is, for the Dracaena, for the nerve plant, which was the one with all the pink, I think that this aquarium will probably need lights. But what I want to do, just for it to do well, because it's a fairly short plant, so what I'm thinking of doing is keeping an eye on the peace lily. I'm waiting for the Boston fern. There's got a lot of mud in its roots. I'm just trying to clear that out. So it might take a bit more time to kind of wash that all out. And I'll plant it on this side, then they'll have their 2 separate areas they can grow. It'll be really nice. And then what I'm thinking is for the nerve plant, if these 2 are doing all right and don't need a light, I will go ahead and put the rest of the media down below. I'll drill some holes in and get the lights all set up so that that plant can have a light source down here, because as you can see it is very dark. The only light source is this, and that's not really coming this way, it's mostly down here. So that plant will have this all to itself, and hopefully it'll be able to do quite well. So that's pretty much it for the turtle build. That's all sorted, which I'm really grateful for. And so ignoring that, this is essentially the room as it is. We went ahead and we put in 5.6 kilograms worth of ceramic media in here. We've got a 3 sponge system set up, and we've also got the peace lily at the moment, so this should be a really adequate filtration system for both systems. I do know that turtles require more filtration than fish. I think it's 3 times the normal amount versus normal tropical fish, whereas I think larger fish in general are twice as much. So that's for scale. Also, I do realize that this pump is not pumping a lot of water through the system per hour, but doing a lot of research, and a lot of other fish YouTubers are saying that it doesn't make a difference if you don't have a very high turnover rate, if you have quite a large filtration bed, just because you can denitrify the water in 1 turnover versus in that should all be okay. I'm gonna take a look at this tank whilst the lights are on as well. These guys look absolutely cool. Yeah, so I want to get him out. Obviously, people don't seem to realize this, though. I've had a lot of comments on Instagram saying that this tank is too small for this guy. This guy isn't I think he's just under 12 inches. He's still fairly big. But this is a 3-foot panel. It's 3 feet deep. So he has 9 square feet of swimming space up at the top. You know, if you were to compare this to what people would usually keep these guys in at this size, which would be like a 4x2x2, they would have about 8 square feet of swimming space. So this guy has more swimming space up at the top. So people on Instagram need to chill out, because I know what I'm doing. Thank you very much. But I am aware that I do want to move him. I've wanted to move him for a while, but I had to keep an eye on the Gourami and the Midas, just because they are getting a bit more aggressive, and I'm doing another video on that, which is why the tank down below me has its own thing going on. So you guys will see that in another upcoming video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I think this video is a bit long, but hey ho, what are you gonna do? And yeah, hopefully I'm back for the long run now. All the software's updated, the computers are updated, so that should be all good. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and as always, peace out.